Yikes. Yikes, 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 yikes. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports. After a very long day, and I mean a very long day, of news, of watching Phillies baseball, hence because there was a doubleheader tonight. Also not pretty Phillies baseball, might I add. It was not pretty whatsoever today. They do end up splitting the doubleheader, which in fact makes them lose 2 of 3 to the St. Louis Cardinals. They win the first one by a score of 2-1, and then they lose game 2 by a score of 14-7. You heard that right. They lose by a score of 14-7 after going up 5-1 in the bottom of the first inning. Aaron Nola. Yikes. Yikes. I can't defend that. I can't defend that Aaron Nola outing. As much as I defended Aaron Nola most of the season, I cannot defend this. He was bad. Bad, bad, very bad. He was not good. Just Phillies go up 5-1. It's always the main talking points, right? How they start Rafael Marchand in game 1. Oh, God, we'll get to Rafael Marchand and his stupidity in game 1 in just a little bit. About how Aaron Nola's numbers between Rafael Marchand and JT Realmuto are so drastic, his numbers are worse when Marchand's catching him rather than JT. So you start Marchand game 1, and then you start JT game 2. And maybe those facts will come to light for this game. That doesn't matter. Oh, that doesn't matter. And that's also to say that Sonny Gray on the other side was better. Both starting pitchers for the Phillies and the Cardinals in game 2 were fucking brutal. Brutal. It's just also with the fact that you go up 5-1, and it's also a talking point that Aaron Nola never gets run support, and you would like to see what he can pitch like when he has run support. He got run support today. He got a 5-1 lead. He had a 4-run lead, and boom, he coughed that up. What was it, in the 3rd inning? What was it, the 3rd inning, I believe? Yes, it was the 3rd inning and the 4th inning, where he just completely imploded. Didn't even get to the RAF 4th inning yet, and he implodes in the 3rd. 2 strike hits, bombs, 3 home runs allowed. Just wasn't good. Wasn't good at all. I can't defend it. I can't defend that. As much as, like I said, as much as I defend Aaron Nola, and I'm an Aaron Nola guy, I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know what's wrong with him. You can't use weather as the excuse, and I really wish, because the 2 games where he pitched very well against the Cubs and then against the Diamondbacks, those were very good Aaron Nola games, and I thought he was going to build off those. Game against Cleveland, doesn't get run support, allows the home runs. Today, he gets the run support and just completely implodes. Cardinals put 14 runs on the board. And realistically, a doubleheader that you probably should have swept. Because... And I'm also going to bring the criticism here to Rob Thompson, because you got to realize when your guy's done, man. Jesus Luzardo was fantastic in game 1. He gave you 7 innings. Yeah, you used 3 bullpen guys. You used Alvarado, you used Kirkring, you used Romano. You still have enough bullpen arms to probably use. You had Taijuan Walker available. I would have brought Taijuan Walker in after that 3rd inning from Aaron Nola, because that just can't happen. You can't bring Aaron Nola back out for another inning. Use Taijuan Walker, let him throw 2-3 innings, then use the rest of your bullpen arms, and you see what happens from there. That's the really downside of Rob Thompson's managerial experience. He doesn't know when to yank guys when you need to. He trusts his guys to a fault. And Aaron Nola clearly was just not good tonight. Not good tonight is just putting it lightly. It really just is. He was terrible. He was putrid. He was dog shit. Pitches just hanging up over the middle of the plate. Balls getting sent out of the yard. It was insane how bad he was tonight. And like I said, this was realistically a doubleheader that you should have swept. Because you probably got lucky in game 1. You probably stole that one thanks to Jesus Luzardo and Bryce Harper, because there was so much stupidity happening during that game with Rafael Marchand's terrible base running multiple times during that game. And even Bryson Stott trying to get a 3rd run on the board when Bryce Harper, drives in the go-ahead run with his bloop single. Bryson Stott tries to score, then they try to argue if the catcher was blocking the path, the home base. It's still a terrible decision if he's safe regardless or not. It's dumb. It's stupid. Why are you forcing yourself to run home? You're taking a chance away from Kyle Schwarber. Why would you do that? when you would have 2 base runners on for Kyle Schwarber with a 2-1 lead, for him for a chance to extend it because he could put a bunch of runs on the board with one swing of the bat. It's dumb, stupid decisions. And speaking of the backup catcher position, it might be time. It might be time just to fucking call it quits with the Rafael Marchand experience and call back up Garrett Stubbs. Because you're most likely not going to... I know Marchand does not have any options left. You're probably not going to lose him to waivers, most likely. You're not going to lose him to waivers. I think at this point you would be better with Garrett Stubbs up here. You probably better with Garrett Stubbs at this rate. I know Garrett Stubbs isn't the world beater whatsoever, but he could probably call a better game than Rafael Marchand. He could play better defense than Rafael Marchand. And granted, he's facing against AAA pitchers, but, you know, Garrett Stubbs has been a pretty solid hitter for the Iron Pigs this year. It's something else. I know people probably don't. It's just Marchand ain't cutting it. You need to give JT more off days. And with the way Marchand's playing, you can't give JT more off days with Marchand being putrid as he is. It just isn't the case. Just isn't the case. What else? I mean, offensively, you score 7 runs in game 2. 7 runs should win you a ball game. So how much do I really blame the offense? They really did die after scoring 7 runs. So even when it was a 9-7 game, the game was still in reach. The offense really wasn't able to do anything. But still, it's hard to blame an offense when you score 7 runs in a game, because 7 runs in a game should win you more times than not. That was just how bad the pitching was in game 2. Game 1, the pitching was fantastic. Besides Jose Alvarado, because Jose Alvarado was very off in game 1. Game 1 was just a very low-scoring affair. Both offenses really weren't doing anything. Fedde on the mound for St. Louis and Luzardo on the mound for the Phillies. It was basically a pitcher's duel. Luzardo was fantastic once again. 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts on 100 pitches. And I really thought that 1 earned run that Luzardo was that allowed in that 7th inning was going to be the backbreaker, because even though I really don't blame Luzardo whatsoever, because it's 1 run allowed in 7 innings, the offense was just looking putrid and it looked like they were not going to do anything. But thankfully, you know, Bryce Harper put a couple of runs on the board in that. Well, actually, you know, Bryson Stott got an RBI to tie the ball game up, then Bryce Harper, you know, drove in the go-ahead run and all that. So yeah, they responded, they managed to win the ball game, and they gave Luzardo his 4th win of the year. So good on Luzardo. He has his ERA at exactly 2 this year. Alvarado comes in and he allows 2 base runners with a hit and a walk. Then you bring in Kerkering into a very high leverage, high risky situation where places normally where he's failed that this year. He looked very good. Kerkering, that is. And I believe he was facing, Arenado and Contreras. He got Arenado to pop up in foul territory, and he struck Contreras out on a full count on a dot. So he challenged him. Contreras froze. He threw a fastball basically on the lower part of the plate, and he got a strikeout to end that inning with a runner at 2nd and 3rd. It was good for Kerkering. And then you bring in Jordan Romano for the 9th inning. He strikes out the side. He looked dominant. He looked very good. Very good. 13 pitches, 10 strikes. And that's another very good inning from Jordan Romano. He showed it in Cleveland the other night, getting that save. He gets the save in the first game today, actually. And if Romano can really figure it out consistently with the way that he has been pitching lately, it is a definite weapon on the right side from your bullpen. That definitely is something that needs help right there. But, you know, if we just look at the overall from the lineup of game 1, you know, Phillies had 7 hits. Bryson Stott goes 1 for 4 with an RBI. Trey Turner 0 for 3 with a walk. Bryce Harper 2 for 3 with an RBI. He almost missed a home run actually in the first inning as well. You know, the way the weather was in game 1, the ball was just dying in the air. I believe Max Kepler also had a chance for a home run in game 1. The ball died right at the warning track as well. So the weather was preventing the ball from going out in game 1. So Bryce Harper 2 for 3. He also had a double in that game. Kyle Schwarber, his on-base streak sadly ended at game 1. He went 0 for 4, so that sucks. Nick Castellanos 1 for 4, Kepler 0 for 4, Bohm 0 for 2 with a walk. Then Marsh went 0 for 2 as well. Wilson came in, went 1 for 1. Rojas then came in as a defensive replacement. Marchand, he went 2 for 2, but he had some of the dumbest base running mistakes I've ever seen in my goddamn life. There was a play where Bryson Stott lined out the center field, and somehow Marchand was just so stupid and just so unaware of where this ball was going to land. It went right to the glove of the center fielder for the Cardinals. He goes to second base. He doesn't even hold up on the line out, he's just going right to second base, not even paying attention to anything in the world, into an easy double up. Get thrown up for a double play. And there was I'm trying to think of what other positions were there as well, where he got a bloop single and he's not hustling out, you know, where he should be on second base. He pouts, he throws his bat down because he thinks it's a pop-up. The ball eventually drops in the infield and he only gets a single out of it. Got to be on second base there. And then there was a section where, I believe this was in the 7th inning, where he tried to stretch a single into a double, and it's still stupid base running decisions. Originally, the play was he was called out on the throw, but then overturned it because he was safe. But it's still stupid. There was just so much stupidity from Marchand in today's game. In game 1, it was so dumb, so dumb. And I'm just tired of watching Marchand right now. Bring up Garrett Stubbs. I'll watch him any day of the goddamn week because he's probably a better ball player than Marchand. Because, oh my God, Marchand got an opportunity this year and he is not riding with it. My God, he just is not. He is not. So that's pretty much for the lineup right there. Realistically, there wasn't many chances because it was just a dud of a game in game 1 offensively for both teams. Phillies did go 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They definitely did there. Harper went 1 for 1 in his chances. Castellanos 0 for 2. Kepler 0 for 2. Turner 0 for 1. Schwarber 0 for 2. Marsh 0 for 1. Stott 1 for 1. Just looking at the game overall, where they did have many chances to score, don't get me wrong. Bottom of the 2nd inning, Castellanos had a single, then he eventually stole second base. Bone walks with 2 outs, nothing happens there. Bottom 3rd, Marchand with a leadoff walk, then comes that Stott line out to line out the center field that Marchand gets doubled up on. Just stupidity right there. Bryce Harper with a leadoff double in the bottom of the 4th. He does not come around the score whatsoever. Bottom of the 5th inning, Marchand with a 2-out single. Nothing happens there. That's the play where he should have ended up on second base, but he did not. Bottom 6, Trey Turner leadoff walk. He steals second base. Then Bryce Harper walks. Then Kyle Schwarber pops up. Nick Castellanos pops up, and then Kepler strikes out with 2 runners on there. So that's a missed opportunity. And then the top of the 7th inning, that's when the Cardinals score. Get a couple of base runners on Luzardo. Herrera with a double. Then eventually Walker singles to drive home that run. Puts the Cardinals on the board. The Phillies do respond in the bottom of the 7th inning. Weston Wilson with a single. Marchand with a single, which puts Wilson to 3rd, and then Marchand risks it and goes to second base. After the review, he was safe, but it was still a very dumb running decision. Bryson Stott infield single. All players are safe. Run scores. Game is tied. Then Bryce Harper on a bloop single, basically just barely squeaking by the outfield, or basically squeaking by the infield, and the go-ahead run scores. And then Stott tries to go home on that play, and he got gunned out by a mile. But then they tried to argue with that the catcher was blocking the path to home plate. They reviewed it, and the call was confirmed. The throw took him in to that section. Oh boy. So still it's 2-1 Phillies after 7. So Luzardo is in line for the win. Top 8 against Alvarado. Nootbaar with a leadoff single, then Wynn walks. So 2 base runners allowed there by Alvarado. Then Donovan grounds out, which allows the runners to go to second and third base. Then the Phillies decide to go to Herkering. He gets Arenado the foul out on a 2-0 count. And then Contreras in a full count. Kerkering dots a pitch, gets the strikeout. Good step there from Kerkering. And then the top of the 9th, the bottom of the 8th actually, was when Kepler missed that home run that died right at the warning track. And then top 9, Jordan Romano with the strike at the side. So good stuff there. You do win game 1. You win game 1 there. But then we go to game 2. And yeah, this game was terrible. This game was not good. I know it says 14-7. Oh my God, that's an entertaining game. Holy shit, it was an offensive fest. This game was not pretty. Let's just go through the entire thing. Why not? Top of the 1st inning, the Cardinals do get on the board after an Arenado ground out, which scores a run home. So it's 1-0 Cardinals. Nola limits the damage in the top of the 1st. Then you go bottom 1. The Phillies put the pounding on Sonny Gray. Trey Turner would have went out infield single. Bryce Harper walks. Then Kyle Schwarber strikes out, so all this damage comes with 2 outs. Nick Castellanos with a deep drive to left center field, goes off of the wall, scores 2 runs at the double for Castellanos. Then Kepler singles with 2 outs, scores Castellanos. Becomes a 3-1 game. Then JT Realmuto hits a 2-run shot, which gives the Phillies a 5-1 lead, and you got a 4-run lead for Aaron Nola. Let's see what he can do with it. Top of the 2nd inning, after a leadoff single, he retires the next guys in order. Bottom of the second inning, nothing happens there after a Brandon Marsh leadoff single. Top of the third, oh god, this is when everything breaks apart. Lars Nootbaar with a leadoff home run makes it a 5-2 ball game. Then Aaron Nola walks, win. Then Donovan Stubbles, which scores, win. Arenado with a groundout moves Donovan over to third. Contreras with an RBI groundout scores Donovan. It's a 5-4 game. Then Herrera singles with 2 outs. Then Burleson home run on the first pitch. It was a meatball right down the middle of the goddamn plate, 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Gives the Cardinals a 6-5 lead. Then bottom 3, Kyle Schwarber responds, ties the game up with a solo shot. It's 6-6. Then top 4, Wynn hits a solo shot, makes it 7-6. There's no reason why Aaron Nola should have came out for the 4th inning. No reason whatsoever. And then all the other damage with the Cardinals here comes with 2 outs. Donovan grounds out to get the second out of the inning. Arenado then reaches in on an infield single. Contreras singles, which moves Arenado to second. Herrera then reaches in on an infield single, which allows the bases to be loaded. Then Rob Thompson decides to wake up and bring out Tanner Banks. Tanner Banks allows Burleson to get a single, and that scores 2 runs. 9-6 ball game. 9-6 ball game. Bottom 4, Alec Bohm with a response. He hits a home run the opposite way to make it 9-7 Cardinals. That was the last run the Phillies scored the entire game. Stott had a single. Nothing happened after that. Tanner Banks came out for the 5th. He gets a 1-2-3 inning. Bottom 5 for the Phillies after a Schwarber leadoff walk. Nothing happens there. Top 6, Taijuan Walker out there. Allows a 1-out single, but looked very good. Bottom 6 for the Phillies. Nothing happens after a 2-out walk by Bryson Stott. Top 7, 1-2-3 inning for Taijuan Walker. Bottom 7, nothing happens there. Top 8, Taijuan Walker maybe left out there a little too long. Maybe should have just went 2 innings and then you used somebody else. But technically it was still a ball game at this point. Leadoff single for Scott. Nootbaar then lines out, which moves Scott to third. He stole second base during the Nootbaar at bat. Wynn then singles to score Stott. Donovan then walks. Arenado then gets on with a fielding error by Brandon Marsh. He hit a fly ball to deep center field. Brandon Marsh under it. Oh my god, it goes off the tip of his glove. I couldn't help but laugh. I couldn't help but laugh in that scenario. It was just funny. I'm sorry, it was just funny. It's just like you're right under the ball. Right under the ball. Boop. Boop on the ground. So all base runners are safe. Then a wild pitch by Taijuan Walker brings home the 11th run. Then Contreras hits a sacrifice fly to bring home the 12th run. Oh my god. Crazy stuff, boys. Crazy stuff. Bottom 8, and basically the game was over from there. Hernandez looked terrible in the top of the 9th inning. He allowed 2 more runs to score. There was nothing else. There was nothing else to give there. Then you look at the lineup for today. Everybody in the Phillies lineup had a hit besides Bryce Harper in game 2. Bryson Stott went 1 for 4. Turner went 1 for 4. Sosa eventually pinched hit for Turner. He went 0 for 1. Harper went 0 for 3 with a walk. Schwarber went 1 for 4 with a solo shot. Castellanos went 2 for 4 with 2 RBI. Kepler 1 for 4 with an RBI. JT 1 for 4 with a 2-run shot. Bohm 2 for 4 with a solo shot. And then Marsh 1 for 4. Phillies, they went 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position. But let's look at the Cardinals lineup because they had 19 hits on the day. Nootbaar 2 for 5 with 2 RBI and a home run. Wynn killed you today. He went 4 for 5 with 3 RBI and a home run. Donovan 3 for 5 with an RBI. Arenado 1 for 6 with an RBI. Contreras 1 for 4 with 2 RBI. Herrera 3 for 5. Burleson 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs and a home run. Gorman went 1 for 4. Then Scott went 1 for 5. Cardinals went 4 for 14 with runners in scoring position. Their bullpen shut it down. Their bullpen shut it down from there. Where do I blame Taijuan Walker? No, I don't put all the blame on Taijuan Walker. No, he looked pretty good from that. He probably was just kept in way too long. Probably was kept in way too long. I'm not going to bash Taijuan Walker there. It's more you had a 4-1 lead with Aaron Nola on the bump. Aaron Nola cost it. You lost this game because of Aaron Nola. Simple as that. You lost the game because of Aaron Nola. Because Sonny Gray was just as bad. 3 2/3, 8 hits, 7 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, 3 homers allowed on 77 pitches. Sonny Gray was just as bad. Aaron Nola was just worse. You lost the game because of Aaron Nola. That's basically it. Because if Aaron Nola gives you a quality start, he goes 6 innings, and you still have a good lead, you go to your better bullpen arms and you probably don't blow this. So, this is all on Aaron Nola. The game 2, all on Aaron Nola. Because 7 runs is enough to win a ball game. It really just is. 7 runs is enough to win a ball game, and it wasn't because Aaron Nola was just that putrid on the mound today, for tonight specifically. So it's your first series loss since getting swept by the New York Mets. That's what it is. So you have an off day tomorrow, and then you play the Pittsburgh Pirates this weekend, which should be, in theory, a bounce-back series for the Phillies to win because the Pirates are not a very good team. They are 14-29. They are a team that you should be beating. And I think they're beating the Mets right now by a score of 4-0 in the 8th, so they're going to avoid the sweep most likely. But they did lose that series to the Mets. And they did win a series against the Atlanta Braves, but they also followed that up with, that looks like 7 straight losses. Yeah, the Pirates are just not a good team. The Pirates are just not a good team. And if we look at the pitching matchups for this series, Ranger Suarez will start on Friday against Andrew Heaney. Andrew Heaney, he is 2-3 with a 3.15 ERA. He's probably been their best pitcher, I guess, overall so far with terms of ERA. Then on Saturday, it's Zach Wheeler against Carmen Ledzinski. He is 1-3 with a 5.2 ERA. His best start coming against the Atlanta Braves, 5 2/3 with 0 earned runs. And then the final game is Christopher Sanchez against Paul Skeens. Okay, Paul Skeens has been their best pitcher. I completely forgot about Paul Skeens. He's 3-4 with a 2.63 ERA. 6 innings against the Mets, allowed 1 earned run. 6 innings against the St. Louis Cardinals, allowed 2 earned runs. The Pirates' offense just isn't good. Their pitching is fine. Their offense is terrible. That's basically what it is. But it's just like, they're not a good team. This is a series that you should win, because look at the next few games, the next 2 series specifically. You're facing some of the worst teams in baseball these next 2 series, the Pirates and the Rockies. Pirates at home for 3, and the Rockies on the road for 4 in course. So realistically, you should be winning these series. And should I say 7 straight wins? No, I can't guarantee that with the Phillies. You got to win both series at least, though. Got to win both series. You got to win the series against Pittsburgh, and I do demand a sweep in Colorado against the Rockies, because the Rockies are just that putrid. You got to. You got to go 6-1 in your next 7 games here. You have to. You have to. Then after the Rockies series, you play the Athletics in their minor league ballpark. They're not as bad as a team as they usually are, but they're still mediocre, I guess you could say. They're 22-20. They're second place in the American League West, but that division is putrid. But yeah. It's a very long day. It's a very long day, boys. Wasn't fun watching these games. And Aaron Nola is speaking right now in the post-game. I'm sure he's taking the accountability, because Aaron Nola does take accountability with himself. But I can't defend this game. I cannot defend that performance from Aaron Nola. He was just bad. He was just very bad. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He was just that bad. I don't know what's wrong with Aaron Nola. This is not Aaron Nola, though. This is not who Aaron Nola is. And if you want to go out there and say, oh, this is always who Aaron Nola is, you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. You're just talking because you always hated Aaron Nola. This is not Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola is not a guy that allows 9 earned runs in 3 innings, 12 hits. Yeah, he's going to allow the long ball, because that's who Aaron Nola is at this point in his career. He's not this bad. He's not this bad. He's not 6 ERA bad. I don't know what the problem is with Nola. Is it just because, simple as, the velocity is dipping too much, and that's why he's getting more hittable? Maybe that's just as simple as that. Maybe him going 200 innings for multiple seasons in a row is finally catching up to him. Maybe that's the case. I don't know how to explain it. But this is not Aaron Nola. This is not the Aaron Nola that I know. I can't defend this game. It's terrible. Terrible from Aaron Nola. I can't defend it. It's just as simple as that. Trying to see if there's anything else from the Twitterverse of this game before we get to the comments and the Anytime Hotline. We just have a text message from the Anytime Hotline, and it's from Steven talking about Aaron Nola. Nola has been legit garbage. I can't defend him right now. It's just downright sad and maddening. Yeah, I do agree with that. He also did leave a text during the first game. Watching and listening to the Phillies offense on the radio is medieval torture. I cannot stand this team's hot and cold streaks. The torment needs to end. Sorry, Steven, you might be tormented most likely. It's only May, so we got a lot of time left here to be continuing to be tormented here. So, sorry about that. But yeah, well, we don't have to worry about the Anytime Hotline voicemail-wise. And it actually does work with schedule-wise, because I do have to do some editing after this for Brodes. Not a Phillies stream, but 2 other things for him. His Flyers reaction to Taka being hired, and his Bleacher Report video about the Eagles' schedule. So we'll do some things here possibly soon. So let's go to the chat here. Lane Man Classic Nola giving up nukes. Anton, 5 more years on that Nola contract. Yikes. R Seeker, Nola 2 pitches, a 92-mile-an-hour heater and an 80-mile-an-hour curve. Underwhelming, plus the wheels come off the chart with this guy. Julian C, 6 runs, but Thompson brings him out. Why not use Walker the rest of the season? Walker, is that the reason why he's in the pen? Yeah, I did question that too, Julian. I did question that. And Hernandez is still on the roster. Our Secret Mets, this Bonilla contract is the worst ever. Dave Dombrowski, hold my beer. But here's the thing with Aaron Nola. There were multiple teams that were willing to give what the Phillies gave Aaron Nola. Hell, the fucking Braves were like the top suitor for Aaron Nola if it wasn't the Phillies. So, it's just... And that was the hot commodity to bring back Aaron Nola. It's just that I don't know what's wrong with him this year. I don't know what's wrong with him this year. This is not Aaron Nola, though. This is not Aaron Nola. I'll say that for free. Tyler, not to overdo it, but this game infuriated me, obviously. Offense finally did what we asked them of him and more, but of course, something screws it. Gotta be better. Yeah. This was a doubleheader that you could have swept, and yeah, I would have gone to the classic trope that doubleheaders are hard to sweep if you happen to lose this game in a normal fashion. I can't do that because you were in position to win this game and to sweep this series, because realistically, if you put it out there, you stole game 1. You stole game 1. Luzardo was dynamic for you, and your bullpen shut the door down, and Bryce Harper was opportunistic. You stole game 1. This game, you should have won. You should have won after you put up a 5 spot in the bottom of the first inning. Realistically, you should have won that with Aaron Nola on the bump, but no, Aaron Nola costed you, and that's simple as that. Aaron Nola costed you. So, got nothing else there. Got nothing else, boys. So, tomorrow, since there is an off day, I'm not sure what we'll do. Maybe we could talk about the Eagles' schedule. It depends on the timing, because I am probably going to do a lot of editing tomorrow. So, just playing it by ear. Then we got this weekend with the Pirates. We'll see how that goes. Friday, we'll most likely do a recap after that. Then Saturday, we'll probably just mix it with Sunday's recap. Just, put it out there. And then we get to those late night games with Colorado and then Athletics. Yeah, look at the Colorado night starts. You got 3 basically 9 o'clock games with a 3:10 mixed in there on the 22nd. Then you got 2 games in Oakland at 10 o'clock, and then you got a 4 o'clock game on the Sunday. So we're getting into those late. It's the first late night games of the season. Maybe we can mix in some streams during those games. Maybe we can. Some watch parties and all that crap. Maybe we can mix those in. So really just depends on how it goes here. So that'll do it for tonight, everybody. I got to go do some work. So I appreciate you all for tuning in as always. So as always, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Does me a great deal of service. You can also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK. Great deal. Don't pass it up. You can also leave a follow at TTP Sports on TikTok and Instagram for all the other good stuff. So appreciate you boys for tuning in as always. During the live stream, after the live stream, when it's just a regular old video. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. So something will pop up in your subscription feed if there's a chance tomorrow, if I do have the time. If not, I'll see you on Friday for a Phillies Pirates recap. So thanks guys for tuning in.